thank you everyone for coming here, and thank you for having us. And it's really great to be here in the head office or the main office in London of ICICI Bank. Thank you. This is ThinkIn. So we do different sessions on leadership, self-leadership. We also, work with big organizations. So recently I was in Delhi at, Gurgaon, and did sessions at EY, Deloitte, KPMG, MIT, all these places. It feels like there is a real need for this kind of these kind of sessions. And then why is it different? Because sometimes you get a lot of leadership sessions coming. And I'll just share a little bit why it's different, my journey and how that links. So I personally started like this kind of conscious leadership when I qualified from university. So I did a pharmacy degree, and then very quickly I had achieved a lot of material success. So I had a nice house, I had a nice car. Like on paper, I had everything. You kind of, your parents tell you this is what you should have, and you should be happy. And once I achieved that, I kind of realized there's got to be more to life than this. I sat 100 exams, I memorized as much as I could, and still I wasn't feeling so satisfied. And so then I have this unique background because I've been born and bred here in the UK, but also have Indian roots. So I kind of have a mix of East and West. And at that point, when I realized there's got to be more to life, I kind of started looking towards the East, like, oh, maybe they have the answers. It seems like they're very spiritual, and obviously the West doesn't have the answers. And I know that because I work as a medical practitioner, and I can see my patients. They come for depression medication. Everybody's unhappy. In the NHS, you see the situation it is now. And one thing I actually realized is even the East doesn't have the answers, because everyone in the East has become more Western. So it's actually not just Eastern principles we're sharing. Actually, I realized it's ancient principles. We're actually having to go back in time. And I started looking into this. And there's a famous saying, if you want a new idea, you turn to an old book. And this is what really inspired me. How ancient wisdom, things that they used to do 5,000, 10,000 years ago, all of these practices are so relevant to us. And these deep-rooted practices actually can make a difference into our lives, but we need to understand how can we apply it to our lives in modern contexts. So that's how the journey began, and that's how I started going deeper into this philosophy and understanding how we can apply this. And also from my medical background, I could see the comparisons and the science behind it, because I have a very scientific brain, but also looking at it through this kind of ancient practice. So that's where we're sort of coming from. And I've been also working for the NHS, and I've done created programs for the NHS which are around well-being, leadership, self-fulfillment, which has been very successful. And now we're kind of taking this with different people to a different level, where we're sharing on a mass scale with different corporations and organizations. I also am a head of an NGO. We have about 300 volunteers, 15,000 people we're impacting now. And ThinkIn also works with children. So we do spirituality for kids. So we're doing different projects around that. We've got a book coming up. So there's lots of things happening, and hopefully today's session is going to be engaging, interactive for you guys, and you can get something of value. I'm just going to play a video now, before I start the session. Hopefully everyone can hear it.
Can we check if everyone can hear this?
Yeah, we can hear. Yeah.
So that video is it's one of my favorite videos actually. Yeah, so every choice we make impacts where we end up. This is a concept I want to share with you guys. How every choice is the thing that can make a big difference. So as I'm going to go into this session, I'm going to share with you a 30-minute tip. 30 minutes of your day that you can change. Now I just want to get a poll here, ask you guys a question. How much time do you guys spend on social media per day? 15 minutes? Amazing.
Sorry, man.
That include news also.
Oh, and news are 15 minutes, okay. You're the chairman or?
No, I'm. He is the chairman. They both are chairman.
Okay, you seem like the worst.
Yeah, he's the most accomplished guy in. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. That's the lowest number I've had since every time I do this.
Correct.
That's the lowest number I've had.
If you consider Teams, I think Teams also is social.
Yeah.
No, Teams meeting is not social.
It doesn't count. Teams doesn't count.
Not social.
You can also write on the
Facebook.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
You
You can also write on the chat.
You can't have now because all communication happening on WhatsApp.
So let's not include WhatsApp. But okay, how much time would you say on average? I think you were gonna share.
Rather not.
You can be honest. There's no judgment, right? From the
Correct.
leaders, there's no judgment.
Maybe an hour.
1 hour? You can be honest.
Just because HR is here, doesn't mean you assume it's during work hours. It's outside of work hours.
It depends on gender and age.
I'm quite fan of the social.
No, I'm thinking about you. How much do you spend? This is individual. There's no right or wrong answer.
I used to spend, but I now stopped.
Okay, good.
Disconnected myself.
That's a very good
From
decision.
Facebook, from Instagram, I've never been.
Uh-huh.
But my sons are always there. So sometimes he keeps informing us some pictures there and there.
Yeah. You have to see them on
But
Instagram.
otherwise, I'm disconnected.
Disconnected, okay.
I have a point here. See, one is the moment this question gets asked, what happens is that even if I'll take my example, I can take me at least speak for myself. I don't have Facebook, don't have Instagram, don't have any social media account except WhatsApp, right? Because that's necessity. but still I know the point what it is getting led to. I will not be able to say with conviction that since I am not using, I've never been in lifetime, never been in Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, or Twitter, right now X. So, not a member of that. Haven't even, but still, the point I think here is getting highlighted is, even if I'm not giving it to the social media, am I occupied? To that answer is yes. So, I'm asking a leading question to you, that, this is a contradiction. I'll be very happy and say no, he's saying 15, I'm saying none, right? But still, WhatsApp also I'll consider social media only, because apart from work also, we are glued to WhatsApp because there are many groups which come, so that is equivalent to social media. But still, that's what in my mind is intriguing, right? That how exactly we deal with it. Though we say no social media, or somebody says 1 hour, but still I'm occupied. I'm just leaving the thought with you.
Yes.
That's what my...
Yeah, and I can share with you the reflection on that. You see, in the 1950s, up until 1950s, 60s, there was a theory called the theory of boredom, right? Where people would have time to be bored, right? Now, in this society, we've lost that theory of boredom. See, when people were allowed to be bored, they were able to think. They would think of ideas. They would go inwards. They would be able to have time to reflect, right? Because they would have that space. Now, if you go to the Pret downstairs, when you're in the queue, how many people are on their phones? When you're on the tube, how many people are occupied? We've reached a space in our society now where we don't have time to be bored. We are constantly occupied. The best ideas, the best innovations come when people have space to think. Unless you have that space to think, even when you eat food, right? Ayurveda, okay? In Ayurveda it says your stomach should be only a third full, the rest should be left with air. There should be space, right? Otherwise it's hard to digest. How can you process your day unless you have space? If you're constantly occupied, you're not going to be able to process the things that you want to process. So thank you for pointing that out. Yes, you have maybe 15 minutes, but we're constantly occupied. So this is why I'm just going to share with you something, 15 minutes, so it's 30 minutes where you can change your day from occupation to, of your mind to actually something you can engage and develop. So I often share this with universities. I recently did a talk in Baku at a big university, and I asked how many people spend time on social media, same question. And one of the students, it went up from like 2, 10, one said 16, this is the situation where we're dealing with. This is the reality. Okay, I just want to share this concept with you. They say we have 5 worlds. Just keep it next. So there's the world around you. So we're living on this planet Earth. We're living in London. There's this, we have a population around us. There's the world you choose. Decisions you make, things that you decide, what you want to do, who you want to be around. Just keep going next. There's the world inside you. The inner you, the person that's in you who has thoughts, who thinks things. And then there's the world you'd like to change, the difference you'd like to make, the influence you'd like to have. And finally, there is the world you're destined for, the world that you want to ultimately, or you're going to ultimately end up being. I want to ask you guys another question. Out of these 5, which one should we give most importance to? The one inside you?
The one inside you.
One inside you?
In general, it goes with the world around.
The world around you, so we should focus more on the world around you?
No, it's happened like even intentionally, unintentionally, you are connected with the world around you. So you are going out, someone is there, he's talking with you, so you'll go with him. You can't say, no, I'll not talk to you, I'll be with myself. So generally it goes with the world around.
Which one should we spend most of our attention to? You can only pick one. You say the world around you?
No, I'm telling that reality. In Christian, it should be the word you are destined for. You can say, I'll focus on that.
Okay, we should spend more time focus on that, yeah? Everybody agree?
The third one.
I think
Just one.
Fourth one also.
Third one?
Yeah.
Fourth one?
If you
These
want
two are
to-
second one,
If you
okay?
want to change
The
something and
audience
if you
from
don't
the
spend
teams, they're
time,
saying second.
They're saying second, yeah?
I'm
Two,
just saying five.
Four, sorry, somebody was
So
saying
third.
I think people
Third.
will
Third
call
and
us saying
second.
third.
Okay.
I'm just saying fifth.
You're saying fifth, okay.
I think the fifth one
Uh-huh.
will lead you to the second one if you have the intuitive ability.
Right, okay.
Because if what you are destined for
Mhm.
is obviously is the ultimate thing which is going to happen, and if somebody has this ability to just gauge what is going to happen, and the second one you will have a choice to make.
Okay.
So
So,
in my mind, fifth is the outcome.
uh-huh.
It's the outcome. It's not your choice.
Yes.
It's your outcome of your action. So it is what action you choose leads to what you are destined.
So which one should we give the most importance to?
What you choose to.
Second.
Second, okay.
I have a point to make. Again, I will not answer directly. So, see, one is there's 5 options when it comes to us. It gets me into thinking not what I may choose, what would be the socially desirable answer. My mind will start thinking what will be, if you look at it, now I'm coming to the answer. All these 5 points are nothing but controllable or non-controllable. Right? The thing which I can do is what is in my control. Either I can choose my action or I can introspect. And the only 2 out of 5 I can. The world around me, I am not deciding. The world I am destined for, maybe as an outcome he articulated, could be an outcome of A, B, C, right? The world he would like to change, I would like to do many things, but again, may not be in my control unless and until I choose my action well and I introspect that actually what I desire, am I in reality doing it? Is what my 2 bit of on this.
So you're saying your inside world and the world you choose, and out of the 2, which one would you say is the most important?
See, between the 2, if you ask me to give an option, the only thing that goes in my mind is what is more controllable. Both action is also controllable, but first is reflection, which is most difficult one. So the world inside you becomes a difficult proposition, but still I would go for that. Between the 2, if I am being given an option,
You go for?
the world
Number 3.
inside you is, if I'm reading it wrongly, then correct me. I'm reading it as that to what extent I'm able to introspect. If that is the meaning, then I will choose third. If not that, then the second one is action.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you for the reflection. I'm gonna disagree with some of you. The world that is the most important is the world we choose, which is number 2. And I'm gonna share with you how that is reflected with the inside world as well as we go on in the presentation. See, just click next. You can keep going. Yeah. See, the world around you, when we're looking at it from an organizational perspective, the world around you is the organization's environment. The things that you're around, right? This is the environment. The number 2 is the organization's culture. We have a choice how we define what our culture is. At every point, like we had in that video, every point there's a decision to make, right? Every day, every minute, we have a decision to make. We are in control of how our organization's culture is set. Number 3 is the employee's morale. How do they feel inside? What is their morale, right? That is determined by every action and decision we make. And the world we like to change is the impact that we have, and the world we're destined for is our organization's future. The most important, like I shared also at the beginning of the video, is the choices we make, which then defines the culture that we create. What kind of culture do you want to create in this office? What kind of culture do you want to create in your organization? Which will then determine what is the impact you make and the future of your organization and the future of where you guys are going to end up. So go to the next slide. So one concept I'm going to share with you is the tree of life.
I'm just sorry,
Yes.
I'm taking your time.
Yes.
Just this culture bit,
Yes.
can you elaborate? Because what you said is known, right?
Yes.
The culture, Sandy said, each one of us sitting here are responsible for setting up the culture.
Yes.
On culture, in terms of, because it's a very commonly, widely used term, worldwide.
Yes.
If a bit more, your perspective on just the word culture will help us to understand.
Yeah. We have a whole a deck on.
Sorry, if I went to it, then you continue.
No, I'll share a little bit, but just giving a perspective. We have a whole deck on culture. We have a whole session on culture actually that we share. I think you might have.
Like the leadership one.
Yeah. So we actually discussed what is actually culture and what is not culture. So there is a difference between what it is and what it isn't. And I'll just share a few off the top of my mind, which we can go into more depth if we want to. Maybe if at the end of the session we can actually dive deeper into just organizational culture. You see, culture is less about our projects, but more about people. Are we prioritizing people or are we prioritizing projects? Right? Often it's very easy in an organization, we prioritize the results, etc. How much do we actually prioritize the people that we're developing? That's just one example. Culture is about not only investment into the company, but investment into the people, right? Culture is not just about just going away, having an away day. Actually, it's about relationships. What are your relationships like with each other? What is the culture around your connectivity with each other? How often do you guys know each other? How often do you know the human aspects of each other? So you see, every little subtle thing creates a culture, but ultimately it's based on the mindset and the vision that you guys have as an organization, as a collective. So I promise we'll go in a depth session for culture specifically. But culture starts.
If you can connect this point for a minute, you can take it. See, what you said is culture is about people, about how we connect. How will we, because unless and until some outcome is desired, this will not help me, even if I have a good relation with you, even if I'm a good human being. Finding the outcome, it's in organizational context, has to be a performance. I'm not saying performance means numbers. Performance culture, right? So unless and until my action is related with an outcome, that culture will not have any significance. If on that you can just a bit more, 1 or 2 minutes, that will help us.
Okay, so like you're trying to say like unless there's a goal, then there is no outcome. Like
Unless there is a
unless
purpose,
everyone's
I
moving.
cannot define as a goal because goal becomes a transactional word.
So unless there's a purpose behind.
Yeah.
See, a group of people, if they don't have purpose, then they will always remain, individual. If there is a purpose,
Yes.
then they come together and perform.
Yes.
on that. So
Yeah. Good. So the question is, what is that purpose, right? Then you have to start with the why. Okay, why are you doing what you're doing? Right? Unless everybody's brought into the why, then the what and the how comes second, right? Everybody needs to understand, why are we doing this? What impact is it making? Everyone should be inspired with that why. So that's the first part of what we start. What is the why? And ultimately, and I'm going to get to this in here, the why comes down to service, right? We're giving back, okay? You're serving in one sense or another. Either you're serving your kids, you're serving your country, you're serving your dog. ultimately the human tendency, the human nature is to serve, is to give back. Now, when it comes to your higher purpose, and I'm just going off the cuff, off the slides here. This isn't planned in the presentation because you shared. If you want to find what is the common purpose, purpose is irrelevant unless it's used for service. And everybody has a unique purpose. Everybody has a unique service that they can contribute. Everybody's individual. So you're in which department? Finance. You're in?
I'm in
Real estate.
Finances, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a part of HR.
You're part of HR.
Head of HR.
Head of HR, okay. You see, everybody has a unique contribution which is coming together for a wider purpose. You have your individual purpose you're using for service, but ultimately also you have a collective purpose. And the culture and the mission of the company should be something, okay, how can we serve? How can we give back? Unless it's defined like that, you're going to fall flat, right? Because if it's based on greed, if it's based on a culture of taking, then that's going to seep through. Now the beauty is, our life is a journey of finding your individual purpose, your individual way of giving back. And when we talk about performance, etc., reviews, you see, if somebody is not aligned with their purpose, if they're not aligned with their service, then they're always going to find it difficult. They're always going to struggle. So that's just based on what you're sharing. So, good. Yes, please. And if anyone else has any things that come up in their mind, please share. Because I love these kind of interactions and being off the cuff. So, yeah, you can interrupt anytime. And also, if you have any questions on the chat, please also they can share.
So, a service organization like banking,
yes,
the industry which we operate in, it is the service to customer is what we are all trying to do, and how we improve it, how we deliver better outcome to customer. So that is a bigger outcome or goal which we are trying to solve. And obviously then each one of us has a role which we are working towards to deliver that bigger outcome.
Yes.
If we deliver that, obviously what we destined for we should achieve. That is the future we are trying. So I think keeping that in mind as to what is the outcome, which in our case is serving the customer well, fair to customer, etc., because it was defined. If that is the objective, then people should work towards it more and make it happen. If that happens, then obviously future is.
I mean the question I would ask is, why are you serving the customer? What are you helping with that customer? What impact are you making for that customer?
Yes.
Are you changing someone's life with this organization? Maybe somebody is transferring money from, for somebody that's never had a bank account before, or you're giving somebody a loan, or these are the stories that inspire us, and that we should really stay connected with. What is the bigger purpose? What is the bigger mission that I'm giving back? And it doesn't just have to be to the customer, also to your colleagues. You're serving each other as well. You're supporting each other. Actually, there's a definition. There's a definition of what is a real leader. Okay, what is the definition of a real leader? I heard this recently. A real leader is someone who wants you to do better than them. Right? Somebody who wants you, where we're not looking at my individual. That's a scarcity mindset. Oh, I am the one holding on to this position. I have to be the person in charge. They shouldn't excel me. See, that is a limiting mindset. A real leader is someone who inspires somebody else to go one step better than they have done. So if we can create that organization culture, we're creating leaders of the future, right? This is our mission. This is our mission for ThinkIn. We are trying to inspire the next generation of leaders, inspire people to give back, and just really embed what is that essence of leadership, what is that essence of culture that we're here to share. And these are the 3 points I'm going to share with you. The tree of life is a universal analogy. Now this analogy it's in the Islamic tradition, it's in Judaism, many countries that we go to, even in the Indian tradition. So this is just want to share with you the 3 concepts, and I'm going to share this with you as we go along.
Just one point.
Yes, please.
What you're saying is, most of us sitting here I'll call it the understanding aspect or the knowledge aspect or, comprehension aspect. All of us know how, what is a right behavior. Leadership you define, right? It's nothing about choosing, right? Consequence. There is leadership in action, right? Not a body leader or whatever we have been discussing. Or as you rightly pointed out, that am I encouraging my team member to be better than me? I don't think any one of us would disagree with that, because that's a statement which each one of us know. The challenge is, if you can also deliberate upon, right, that how to ensure that those behavior gets encouraged. The problem is not knowing. The problem is the behavior. I know that this is what I should do.
Yes.
I should encourage my team member to become the next leader.
Yes.
Right? But am I doing it? Or what is stopping me?
Yes.
Or what is the behavior we should do?
Yes. Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to give you practical ways that we can embed that consciousness. Okay, so I don't want to just come here and talk. I want it to be practical. It's going to be real. So I'm going to share with you 3 exercises, like I shared, 30 minutes, that then you can take with you. That will then instill that mindset of abundance, that mindset of where we can practically make that statement come to fruition and reality. I'm just going to take you to a battlefield now. Now, battlefield, does anyone recognize where this battlefield is from?
Mahabharata.
From Mahabharata, yeah. This is the battlefield of Kurukshetra. It's from this very famous book called the Bhagavad Gita. Has everybody heard of this book before?
Yeah.
So it's, you've heard of it also? Okay. So I share this in NHS and everywhere I go. Now the Bhagavad Gita is a book spoken 5,000 years ago, and it's been read by many famous people: Einstein, Gandhi, Martin Luther King. Recently there was a movie called Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb. He read and studied this book. Here's a famous line from this book, and it's actually like the ultimate self-help book, the original spiritual self-help book. So there's a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which Stephen Covey claims that he took inspiration from this book. There's Atomic Habits, there's The Power of Now, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. So all of them originate and take from this one book called the Bhagavad Gita. And the reason it's relevant is because we're going to take some principles from this book, which then gives us an idea. So it's not just I'm taking this is universal principles. And anyone who's studied yoga before, this is the book of yoga. So anybody who does yoga teacher training, we actually support yoga teacher trainers as well. They have to study this book. So just a bit of context of what I'm going to share with you around identity and energies and the mind. So the first and foremost foundational principle, and because I'm sharing something which is unique and which is really, in essence, what we really need to grasp as the root, is identity. What is our identity? Who are we in essence, right? Are we this body? The body changes. Every 7 years you're a new person, you're a new self. So technically we're not this body. The mind, are we the mind? Well, the mind is often your mind is sometimes thinking many different things, so your mind often changes, so we're not really the mind. So what are we in essence? Consciousness. Yeah, consciousness. What are you in essence? Consciousness or soul, whatever it is. Now, the more we can connect with that identity, you see, okay, you might be someone from HR, you might be finance, you might be sorry, I don't know the other roles here.
Sales,
marketing, sales, HR. Now that's just a designation, right? You also might be a father, son, etc. These are all temporary roles that keep interchanging. Who are we in our essence? Now, if we can connect with our identity on a daily basis, on a regular basis, it puts everything else in perspective, and it creates that abundant mindset. Consciousness, or the soul, is in Sanskrit, is described as Sach It Ananda. Such means eternal, Ananda means joyful, such and eternal, joyful, and such it Ananda is forever, eternal, yeah, eternal, joyful, and full of knowledge. Full of knowledge. So essentially, you are like full of knowledge. You're eternal, and you're meant to be consciously happy. But because of this material designation, we have this unhappiness, etc., etc. So the more we can identify with ourselves, our full potential, the more we can actually connect with this abundance mindset. So, like I said, I was going to keep it practical, and I'm going to give you
just
yes.
one point here. I think I remember. I'm sorry, this Sanskrit sloka I will recite. This is from Gita, second adhyaya.
Yes.
And I think which is identity, soul, and mind.
Yes.
In the battlefield, Arjuna is asking Krishna, Sthita pragasya ka bhasha, samadhisthasya keshava, sthita dekim pravaseta, kimasita brajet kim. Which means that I am questioning my, identity, which is, kind of asking that how come I have to fight with my brothers, right? Show me the way. So identity, soul and mind, it's a combination of all that. And Sthita Pragya means I'm just stand still, right? What to do, I do not know. Now if you look at it, the situation and correlate it with our, corporate jobs, I think daily, at least we get into this questioning of that what I'm doing is right or what action I should be getting into. So questioning self, questioning identity, and then relating soul and mind is very, may not be, it's a very high order, if I may say so. But at least questioning self is identity or getting into action is what daily we go through. So I thought I'll just relate it.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
well connected with this.
yeah, the thing is, this higher self that we're talking about now, there's a slide I'll share with you in a second. So we'll come to that. If we connect to the higher self, then our actions are in alignment, right? We have to be aligned, because unless we're aligned with who we really are, then our actions are going to be all over the place. We have to really connect with that real identity. Who am I? What is my purpose? And it starts with connecting with the identity as the soul. And I'm going to share with you an activity that you can do 5 minutes a day. It's very simple, and it's a gratitude exercise. They say gratitude is the mother of all qualities. So if you can experience it and do gratitude, then all of the good qualities can come. So this is a small meditation, and we will do a meditation at the end of the session as well. We'll do a guided meditation, but this is just one small meditation you can do. So you can think of yourself as the soul or as consciousness, right? So when you close your eyes, you think of yourself, okay, me as consciousness, taking away any external identities. And then you start by saying, okay, what am I grateful for in life? So you start, I'm grateful for my body, I'm grateful for my mind, I'm grateful for things around me, in your vicinity, the inner circle. What are you most grateful for? Then you move on to the next question, which is, who am I grateful for to and why? So then you talk about your family. Okay, my loved ones, my friends, my work colleagues. Hopefully you're grateful for each other. Yeah?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good. And then the last question of, once you think about who are you grateful to and why, then you make it practical. How can I show my gratitude? Right? How can I show someone I am grateful to them? When was the last time that you told a loved one, thank you so much for everything you do, or thank you so much for being in my life, or when was the last time we thanked someone just for being them? Right? Often we don't. We take it for granted. People we love the most, we take for granted the most. So just by practicing this gratitude every single day, just 5 minutes, actually something you can do when you wake up. It's very simple. You wake up in the morning and just practice gratitude. If you can just do, even just out of the 3 exercises, even just do one, just this one 5-minute exercise every morning, I guarantee you, your decisions and things you happen at work in your life will change. your culture will change, your decisions will change, the impact you make will change. So we'll share this with you guys at the end. You can also take a picture if you want, etc. So we'll go to the next
So you
slide.
share by way of email or phone?
Yeah, we can share the slides with you. Now, coming back to your point, right? What you were saying. How does this affect us in reality? The concept of identity, right? And why is it so important? This analogy is taken from the Upanishads, right? And it's one of my favorite analogies. And it talks about how our body and mind and soul is like a chariot, where the horses are like senses. And like the senses, you have the horses. See, the mind is like the reins controlling the senses. The intelligence is controlling the reins, and the soul is the passenger. Now, if our senses are in control, then we're kind of going all over the place, right? If I said, okay, we want to do this, we want to do that, we're reacting, we're in a reactive mindset, which is then controlling the mind, which then controls your intelligence to make the wrong decisions, and the soul is just a passenger on a ride. If we concentrate on this part, we concentrate on identity as the soul, then we can direct the intelligence to then control the mind, which then controls the senses to make the right decisions, and you end up being where you want to be. Right? This is why connecting with your identity as a soul is extremely important, because then you can direct where do you want to end up, what destination do you want to be in ultimately. So we'll move to the next slide, and this is the soul side. So we're now going to go to the mind. Now, before I go to the mind, I just want you to. I'm going to ask you guys 2 questions, and I want you to pair up with someone next to you, and I want you to answer 2 questions. First question: how would you describe your mind? Right? If you were to describe your mind, how would you describe it? And second question is: what do you do for peace? So we'll spend like 3 minutes. Turn to the person next to you. 2 questions. How do you describe your mind, and what do you do for peace?
This is mother mind.
So, controlling is basically meditation and deep breath. Mind is, the way people typically you tend to feel high, but you have to ground yourself by being slightly humble.
Okay, good.
Some people say, Golo says, by controlling our minds. How do we find it?
Yes. Okay, fine. So, how would you in this room? We'll just take some quick one-word answers. How would you describe your mind?
So, my friend said wondering.
Wondering. Okay, good.
Thinking machine.
Thinking machine. Huh? Okay, good. Good.
Overthinker.
Overthinker. Wonderful.
Active.
Active.
Vast.
Vast. Huh?
Inquisitive.
Inquisitive.
Organized mess.
Organized mess. Okay, good. Good.
I'd say restless.
Restless.
I'll say that another faculty is subconscious mind, which enables the conscious mind to keep thinking all the time, because it is giving the input what we have accumulated over a period of time.
Okay. Busy mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mother mind.
Mother mind. Okay.
So after what?
Constantly
Okay.
thinking.
Okay. Fine. And did you guys discuss what do you do for peace? Did everyone discuss that? Maybe just 2 people want to share.
See, just sorry, mine from, since he said we did not answer, so mine from both of us, for me it's limitless,
Yes.
for me it is mindful. Being
Being mindful. Okay, amazing. And for peace?
Pray.
Huh?
Pray.
Pray. Okay, nice, thank you.
Walk and chanting.
Walk and chanting, amazing.
Gratitude.
Huh?
And
Gratitude, amazing, okay. So it's interesting how the mind has a personality, right? Everybody's described restless, overthinking, all of these terms. You see how interesting it is we describe the mind. And it's also interesting how we also find peace. One concept I want to share with you guys today is how the mind is often can be described as an internet browser. Now, who here feels their mind is like a browser with like 100 tabs open at the same time? and we don't know where the music's coming from, you know. So just like you have your Google, or I don't know what you guys use at ICICI Bank, whatever browser you guys use, Firefox or Safari, Chrome. Okay. So just like that, see, the mind also has a home page. So when we wake up in the morning, we have a certain way that we think, right? A certain disposition, a certain way that we're naturally inclined to. Either the glass is half full or half empty, right? We always have a natural way of being. The mind is also has favorites. So things that we like to gravitate towards. Sometimes these are good things, sometimes not so good things. The mind also has history, right? We all have a past, things we've been through, things we've experienced. The mind has autocompletes. www. When you put in ASOS shopping, Amazon, all your shopping list comes out. The same way the mind jumps to conclusions. We see something and we're immediately like, oh, this person must be like this. Oh, that must be like this, right? We have an autocomplete in our head. And whether we like it or not, the mind has pop-ups. Random thoughts come out of nowhere, right? If you guys, I'm sure mostly everyone here, when they're walking from the tube station to here, random thoughts must have popped up from your mind out of nowhere. Now the interesting thing is, just like a web browser, can we refigure the homepage on a web browser? Can we? Yes, you can. The same way with the mind, you can reset the way you think and how you wake up in the morning. Can we reset our favorites? Can we have more favorable things? Yes. Can we change our history? Can we change our history? No. Can we delete history? Maybe we can't delete it, but we can add in new impressions.
You can ignore it.
New impressions in your mind that then build upon and reduce that history that you have in the past. And can we change our autocompletes? Yes. And can we block pop-ups? Yes, we can. You see, the mind, just like a web browser, can be changed. It can be altered. It can be reconfigured. And there's a few ways we can do this. The two most practical ways is what we take in and what we block, right? Things that we take in the mind, right? And things that we stop from entering the mind. If we can do this, then we can reconfigure the mind. Now the mind we have a whole session on, we can go deeper into it. I'm just sharing with you like off the surface. And one of the ways you can, gentleman here mentioned mindfulness. There's different techniques you can do to reconfigure the mind. So you've got meditation, detoxing, journaling. Who here does meditation, practice meditation before? I think some of you said prayer and chanting, and you all have done some way or another. Now what we'll do is at the end of the session, before we finish, 10 minutes before, we'll do a quick 7-minute meditation. Does that sound good? Office meditation? Yeah? You'll go back all Zen-like after. So yeah, just keep going on. Just to the end. And to the next slide. Now the last concept I want to share with you is energy. You see, as you're walking from the station to here, it's a long walk, right? 15 minutes, right? And when you're walking from the station to here, it's interesting because there's different energies that you're walking past, right? When you walk past them, some things you're attracted to, like, oh, that looks really interesting. And some things you're really like, actually, I do not want to go there, right? You kind of want to stay away from. And there's probably in the office as well, right? Maybe there's some people that have great energy and some people that have energy that you don't really want to connect to. So there's energies all around us. And energy is described as in 3 ways. And I'm going to ask you guys a question now. This man is driving in London traffic, okay? He's got road rage. Is he acting out of free will?
Yes.
Yes, he is. Anybody else?
No.
No? Not free will. Not free will, okay. Anyone else? Why is not free will?
Because the mind is just controlling.
The mind's controlling him. Okay, fine. You can also write on the chat yes or no. Is he acting out of free will? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, this person's smoking. Okay, it's obvious on there. It says, no smoking. This kills you. Are they acting out of free will?
No.
Access to on how he decides to regulate his output.
So you're saying no self-control. He's not in choice.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a choice.
He is in choice of how he decides to react to a situation is still on.
So you're saying he has a choice.
Yeah, he has a choice of how he decides to react to a situation.
We don't have control on what is happening, but we have control
On how you react.
How you react. So you're saying there is a choice.
Yeah.
He's acting out of free will.
Yes.
What I would
Somebody
say,
disagreed, right?
Yeah, I disagree.
Okay,
I would
please.
say that going back to your previous
Yes.
what history he has,
Mhm.
right, in his mind built up,
Mhm.
experiences, right, actually led him to
Mhm.
react in that manner.
Mhm.
Same with his smoking, right?
Mhm.
That addiction,
Mhm.
right? Okay, so he has a choice
Yes.
at the start,
Yes.
right? Today, if you put a cigarette in front of me,
Yes.
I have a choice. I don't smoke, so I don't want to smoke,
Yeah,
right? But that history, the guy who's been smoking for 10 years, right, or what, right?
Mhm.
For him, he's addicted. He can't. He doesn't.
You don't have a choice. Okay, good. Two opposite answers. Right or wrong, right? You guys are giving two opposite answers. Okay. Very interesting. This is why I wanted to spark today. Okay, go to the next slide. See, this man, so go back one more. This person who's smoking is telling you in your face, this is going to kill you. It's telling you in your face, it's going to kill your child. Right? And yet he's still smoking. He's still picking up that cigarette. So therefore, is he actually acting out of free will? Would somebody consciously want to smoke and kill their children? Would they consciously want to end up like this? Right? Or is there something else? Is there another force that's acting? See, I'd like a volunteer to just read this out for me. Anyone in the room? Just read the... Somebody?
Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, Almighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes.
By these modes, yeah. So it's described that there's three energies playing, and these modes are controlling everything we're doing, right? And these modes affect us. So this energy, it's almost like we're like puppets which are controlled by these energies. And that's the analogy that's given. You see, there's three types of energies. Some of you maybe heard this before. There's the goodness, passion, and ignorance. So it's tamas, which means it's dark, it's lazy, it's unproductive. There's sattva, which is clean, calm, in goodness, and rajas, which is energetic, passionate, busy, etc. Like London is very passionate, right? When we're in the streets, everyone's busy, etc. So these are the three modes of a material nature. And what is described is everything is you can put in the three modes of material nature. It's almost like a TV screen. Everything is happening in these three modes, but to different degrees. So then everything you do can be identified in these three modes. Now, what's interesting is these modes are around us, but also within us, right? So, and what's the crazy thing is, what's around you affects what's inside you, and what's inside you affects what's around you, right? So this is how the modes work, and it can be applied to everything we do in life. Food, right? What do we eat? That could be a mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, right? You know, if you're going to eat that pizza, right? It looks good, it tastes good, but if you keep eating it, it's not going to be good for you in the long run. But if you eat that salad or that healthy meal, yes, it doesn't taste as good, There's no like real substance to it, but in the long term, it's going to be good for you, right? That could be in the mode of goodness. Or something that's stale, it's, in the mode of passion. It's the mode of ignorance. Places, right? Environments have different energies. Some are in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. You're in London, it's very passionate. Maybe if you come to the countryside, it feels very much in the mode of goodness. Times of day, right? So the sages, what they would do is, people meditate in the morning, right? And the morning is known as time of goodness. There's this thing called the 5 a.m. club, right? Most successful people wake up at 5 a.m. Who here wakes up at 5 a.m.?
I'm trying to.
You're trying to?
Yeah, I wake up at 5:45.
5:45, okay, you're getting there.
I'm trying to get there.
Good. See, the reason why there's a time of goodness is because it's quiet, it's peaceful. And that's the time where you do activities like meditation, reflection, etc. There's mode of passion time, which is in the daytime, where you get activities done. That's why most people work during the day. And there's even a time for the mode of ignorance when you're sleeping, you're resting. There is a time for that also. So utilizing the modes for the times of day.
Sorry, Mr. Rajiv, if I may ask.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yeah.
So at what time you wake up normally, if you don't mind, please?
Amazing. Thank you for asking. So this morning I
He's
woke.
our auditor.
He's an auditor. Okay, amazing. That's good. He's checking properly. So this morning I woke up at 5:30, and I was meditating for 1 hour 15 minutes roughly. That's how I started my day. I wake up, got ready, got the things done, and then I was meditating. Like that. That's how I start my day. What time do you wake up, Mr. Auditor?
So actually, I'm also a day man. So I also wake up around between 5 to 6, and I don't do meditation, but I read or I listen something around Gita or something around Bhagavad Mahapurana. So I do that for 1 hour.
Amazing. Yeah. This is kind of the perfect activities. These kind of things are journaling, meditating, exercising, being reflective. These are the things that we do in the morning. So every time has energies, and utilizing that energy can impact us. You see, even faith can be in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, right? Even our determination can be in these three modes, right? Are we determined only for certain bursts? Are we determined for the wrong thing? Or are we determined long term? Right? That's the long term determination is the mode of goodness. Our desires, right? What are we desiring? Are we desiring pleasure? Are we desiring temporary things? Are we desiring material things? Or are we desiring good for others? All these things can be done in the three different modes. So, like that, it's impactful, and then we'll just quickly skip over these slides. So mode of goodness is joyful, health, compassionate, and it's something that's hard now, but good later. The difficulty. Exercising, it's difficult at the beginning, but it's easy later. Diet, difficult at the beginning, easy later. Hard work, etc. You get the point. And actually, mode of goodness is being, how to be. Right? It's that inner world, that content of character, that inner quality comes from the mode of goodness. You see, you can tell when somebody's in the mode of goodness by how they react, how they are making decisions about a situation. This applies to your work, right? If you act in the mode of goodness, you're planning long term, you're thinking strategically, you're thinking ahead, right? You're thinking about good for others, right? So this impacts the culture, the organization. Are you guys all in the mode of goodness, or is the culture in the mode of passion? So we'll go to the mode of passion. Now, the mode of passion, sometimes it's needed, right, to get things done. But do you have intense endeavor, over ambition? Ambition's good, but is it intense? Is it based on greed? It's easy now, but then it causes problems later. It's bad later. And it's to do, it's about doing. So yes, we need to do, but what happens is we overdo, right? We don't spend enough time in the mode of passion, we spend enough time, but we spend too much time in that mode of passion. Too much time doing. Right? It's nice that you guys have taken this time out today to actually spend, so you can actually have this conscious conversation. The more we have this conscious conversation, the more we're in the mode of goodness. Right? Just taking time to pause, reflect. And then we have the mode of ignorance, which I think hopefully no one here has that work culture, but that's stagnation, sleeping, sometimes not doing anything. Bad now, bad later, obscure, stagnant, and that's mainly to take, to have, you know. Sometimes that can also creep in. Dreaming. Does anyone daydream here at work? Maybe not. Okay, so go to the next slide. So that's, and this is the 4 questions you can ask yourself. Why am I doing this? What is your intention? What am I doing? How am I doing it? And what is the results? So if you want to see what mode you're in, ask yourself these 4 questions, and then see, am I in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance? And ultimately, just quickly, keep clicking. Ultimately, it comes to the diet. Just keep clicking. So the question is, do you want to be influenced, or are you going to be an influencer? Right? Are you going to be influenced by the modes, or are you going to influence the modes? The thing is, if we are able to influence the modes and be in control of them, then we can make better decisions and then ultimately lead to our destiny that we were going to end up to. We saw that thing in the video at the beginning, right? Every decision made a difference, right? Every decision makes you lead to where you end up. So what decisions do you guys want to make? Are you going to decide to be in the mode of goodness, in the mode of passion, or in the mode of ignorance? And everything is affected, from what you eat, from what you watch, what you listen to, the people you spend time with, the places you go, the website you visit, the interests you pursue. Everything determines where you end up, right? You saw in that video at the beginning, I'm just linking it back, that there's 2 different people and they have 2 different places. The energies are going to be around you. Are you going to be affected by them, or are you going to affect them? Which then affects your organizational culture, affects what you do, where you guys end up, and where you end up as a team. So, last slide. Just keep going. And the thing is, what it comes down to is the inclination. The reason it's so difficult to incorporate bad habits is because our inclination is often in the mode of passion and ignorance. See, when you put water down this slope, it's very easy for the water to go in one direction. What we have to do is change our inclination, right? Change our habits, change the things we do to move into the mode of goodness, because when we do that, it becomes much, much easier. Everything else flows. It becomes much easier to practice in things in the mode of goodness. So at the beginning it's hard because our inclination is this way, but we have to make the endeavor to move it in that way. I'll just skip through this slide. If you're peaceful, surrendered, just keep going. Just go. Keep going. Yeah. So yeah, everything we do can be in that mode. Yeah. So health, achievements, wisdom, happiness, and character. Good. Reconfigure your energy. So now we're just coming to the end, last slide. Transforming mode of ignorance, we need to get rid of that completely. Balancing the mode of passion. This is the mistake we all make in corporate organization. We do too much of the mode of passion. Developing the mode of goodness, and ultimately connecting with the higher self. If we're able to do that, then you can transcend all of these modes. So before we finish, I think we promised a small meditation, so we'll do that before the end. This is just about how we can connect more. I shared already what ThinkIn does. And this is we didn't put the slide up there, but there's a feedback form we'll share. They keep telling me to push the LinkedIn page, but we're telling you to come off social media, so, you know, I'm not trying to contradict, but do we have any questions on the chat or in the room?
I have a question. You said you should balance your mode of passion. How do you do that?
Yeah. You see, what happens is we often spend too much time in the mode of passion. Passion has a space, which means getting things done. But if we're constantly busy, if we're constantly doing things, if we're constantly not taking time out for ourselves to be reflective, then we're not going to be able to balance. So you have to ask yourself, how much am I spending my time doing, but how much am I spending my time thinking? And there's different ways to balance it. So things like journaling, meditating, taking time out, time to yourself, being reflective, reading, maybe in the work environment. Let's just say work environment, right? How much time do you guys spend planning, and how much time do you spend last minute tasks doing? What is the situation here? Just interested.
It depends on who is our regulator. If they are asking something urgently, then everything side and do. Whatever routine work we always plan and do it well.
Plan. Okay.
So it depends how we are getting.
So sometimes
need of information.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think one more thing difficult is to maintaining anything. Like you can start today. We are with you.
Mm-hmm.
With a good person, in the company.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start something tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The next week it's gone. So that's, I think, the difficult part is to how to sustain something which we are thinking of. We start.
Yeah.
Passion is more to do with age. Anybody who is young is obviously going to be more passionate because he has to prove himself to the world that he has the passion to drive and do things like that. Say, for instance, my children, when I tell them to go in for meditation, they say it's not our time to go in for it at this age. Okay, I said agree. Whenever time will come, they will be grooming towards that. So passion is a natural instinct which will grow as you grow in your life. So goodness stage will come, but as long as the wisdom is not there, the goodness stage it will be difficult to come. So passion one is always normally the stage of passion. So passion, do. This is what most youngsters.
How old are your children?
One is 30 and the other is 27.
Okay, I'm going to give you an example for your children. I'd like you to share this with them about meditation. Okay. You see,
so I become an example myself in front of them. So I do it. I explain to them.
Yeah.
And they say that which age you started yourself? I said I started at the age of 30, 38 or 40 probably.
Yeah.
So say okay, we are still young.
So I'm gonna share an example with you, and you can share this with them. Yeah.
Go.
So meditation is described the best way I describe it, how it's relevant and effective. You see, when you have an arrow, right, and an archer has an arrow, and when he wants to shoot the arrow, what does he do with the arrow? He takes the arrow and he draws it back, right? Now it seems a bit counterintuitive. The arrow you want to shoot forward, but he's drawing the arrow back, right? But what happens after he draws the arrow back just a little bit? What happens when he releases the arrow? It goes with more force, energy comes, and it pierces exactly where it was supposed to be. Meditation, goodness, is like pulling the arrow back. When you pull the arrow back, you're just pulling it back a little bit. When somebody takes time out in the day, in the morning, they pull back a little bit. But when they release, how effective are they in the day? How much do they pierce their target? How much do they end up where they want to be? That is meditation. That is being in the mode of goodness. Taking that small amount of time out, you can be more effective in your day because you're conscious, you're present, you're making the right decisions. So that is the example I give to anyone who says, okay, I don't have time for meditation. No, meditation is required. Like, it's not that you're doing meditation the whole time. Well, actually, the ultimate goal is to be constantly in a meditative state. But there is a time, like Arjuna, for example, let's just talk about the Bhagavad Gita. He wasn't just meditating in the forest. The advice wasn't go to the forest and meditate. No, the advice was you need to fight. He wasn't fighting a full-blown war, but he was meditating as he was fighting. So I was getting a bit passionate about this. But he is meditating while he's also meditating on what his purpose is, what his dharma is. So meditation doesn't just mean you sit and you meditate. Yes, there is a time and space for that, to be reflective. But what did Arjuna do when he was confused? He took time out. Right? He took time out, took advice, he reflected, and then he was more effective. So like that, we have to take time out. Sorry you don't know the story. I hope it's... and also some people on the chat, I was just giving the explanation.
There's one question from the audience. Samusha from Germany. If you peacefully surrender yourself to the will of the universe, does it mean you don't want to steer your life yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If you peacefully... See, that's a really nice question. And there's a combination of wanting to be detached and also wanting to act, right? And there's this very famous concept. It's become detached from the outcome, but be attached to the activity. So you're not ultimately, you should have the mindset, you're not in control of the result, but you're in control of what you do, right? So yes, you should have a desire, you should have an action, you should have something that you want to do and achieve. But where we fall short is when we get stuck on the result. See, we learn it's not about being the best, it's about trying your best, right? And that's a really important distinction.
Yeah, I think focus on that also reduces anxiety.
Yes.
So if you feel that outcome is not in my hand,
Yes.
what is in my hand is actions.
Yes.
So you are focused on action, and you're trying to do well here.
Mm-hmm.
If you do well here, obviously likely probability of outcome better.
Yeah.
If you say I want to do this, whether it will happen or not,
Yeah.
it just create anxiety in the mind,
Exactly.
which distract you from the action which you are going to do.
Exactly. This is a universal. It's easier said than done, but we have to try.
I understand. We are short of time. There
Yes.
is one, I think, Ajay from Manchester. I think he missed a slide regarding the soul science.
Okay.
You can just briefly recap on it.
I will reshare
Okay.
slide just for time.
Yeah, we can do the meditation.
We can do a meditation now. That sounds right. And this is just we're just giving you an overview. It's like a tip of the iceberg of a session. There's more depth that we can go into. And actually, we can make it more interactive. I actually wanted to hear more from you guys. So maybe in the future. Okay, so you guys have all meditated before? First time? You meditated before. Okay, so you guys are pros. Now I just want you to empty the mind. Clear any thoughts that are not serving you. Begin to relax the forehead. Relax the eyes. Relax the face, the mouth, the nose, the jaw. Relax the neck. Any stiffness you have in the neck. Relax the shoulders. Sometimes we feel we have the weight of the world on our shoulders. Begin to now relax the chest. Now as we focus on the chest, I want you to imagine a ball of energy within the heart center, spinning clockwise, any color that you like. And the faster it spins, the more it grows. I'm going to send that energy now to the rest of the body. Send that energy now to the left hand, the arm, the palm, the fingers. And also the right hand, the arm, the palm, the fingers. Begin to relax the stomach, the legs, the knees, and finally the feet. You can now take yourself to the mind and think of a place where you can go deep into this meditation. It could be any place you like, indoors, outdoors, or in nature. Just begin to imagine that place more and more. I'm going to fully take yourself to that place right now. What do you see around you? What sounds can you hear? What can you touch? How does it feel to be in this peaceful place? Just be present with yourself. I mean, to now just imagine something that you're really grateful for in life. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's something in your life that's happening right now, something that's happened in the past. What are you really grateful for? Just begin to open up the heart and really feel that gratitude within the heart space. I just want you to set an intention. What intention, what spiritual intention do you want to set for yourself? Think of one intention in your day, in your life, that you really need to hear right now. What message, what intention is it that you need to hear? Now I'm going to take that intention and really feel that energy and love within the heart space, that gratitude. You can slowly, in your own time, whenever you're ready, bring yourself back into the room. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.